Absolutely gorgeous night here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Packers and Chiefs. Let's check in on the sideline. Lance Allen and John Kuhn.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And tonight, John, we have different play callers. I understand Matt LaFleur, Mike Pettin, taking the headset off, giving it to somebody else.
Yes, Luke Getsy will call the plays, the quarterback coach on the offensive side for the entire game. On the defensive side, it's going to be a mix-up here. Each assistant coach on the defensive side is going to have a crack at a quarter to show what he can do calling the plays. Matt LaFleur loves this idea. It gives him a chance to step back, really manage the game, and evaluate his players that are on the field.
The other thing is, if you're a fan, now you know who to blame for the play calls as well, and it's not the head coach. Kevin, James, back up to you guys.
Lance, thank you. James, we had kind of a busy roster week for the Green Bay Packers. They traded defensive lineman / linebacker Reggie Gilbert to Tennessee. They also cut a former second-round pick, Josh Jones, earlier in the week.
And Josh Jones, not that it surprised me, but he had been a little bit disgruntled during the offseason, wanted to be traded. They probably couldn't find a trading partner. Now he's out of town.
Heads is a call. Heads is a call. It's a tail. You won the toss. You want the ball? Which way you want to kick? Stay as you are. Green Bay won the toss and will receive and defend the south goal. Good luck, gentlemen. Play hard.
So we're going to get a chance to look at the Green Bay offense right off the bat. And Tim Boyle, who did a terrific job last week in Winnipeg against the Oakland Raiders. Slow start, picked it up, couple touchdown passes with Aaron Rodgers again watching as the second-year quarterback Boyle out of Eastern Kentucky will make the start.
And I think the great thing for Tim Boyle is he can build off of that momentum. Like we said a year ago, he was entrenched at that number 4 spot. Brett Hundley, Deshaun Kaiser were fighting over who was going to be the backup. He survives, he makes the roster. Now he's in that mix and then that conversation to be the backup quarterback. Now Deshaun Kaiser on our screen has had those starts. Had him with Cleveland, had some starts last year. He knows what it's like to be in an NFL game, and that really is a lot of street cred that you need to have.
So if I'm looking from a distance, James, and I talk about Green Bay's battles to watch, the third running back between Carson and the drafted Dexter Williams out of Notre Dame, the backup quarterback you just talked about, Boyle versus Kaiser, final wide receiver slot between Lazard, who will not play tonight because of an injury, and Shepard, and at the cornerback, Chandon Sullivan against Kadar Holman. Just some of the battles that stand front and center.
Yeah, and I think that receiver battle will be front and center tonight because we're not just going to run the ball. There's going to be some balls in the air tonight also.
Opening kickoff presented by Fleet Farm, built for real life. They'll leave it in the end zone with Darius Shepard, who probably has been the Packers preseason MVP. And tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Spectrum. As we take a look at the Packers starters, Carson will start in the backfield and Tim Boyle will start at quarterback.
These plays won't be coming in straight from Matt LaFleur, but he's going to have some influence on what's being called and who's going to be getting the ball so that they can highlight some players.
They take it from the 25. Last week this was the 15. Tonight is the 25. With a fullback Bohannon, it's Carson running outside. Cuts the finds a hole and he pushed down the sideline and belted out of bounds as he turns the corner and gets near the Green Bay 43, let's say the 40-yard line, and a gain of 15.
When I see a hole that's big enough to drive a SUV through, the first thing I look for are yellow flags. No yellow flags there. Great job by the blockers out in front, using their feet to get in position, not holding with their hands.
Carson up to that time had been averaging 2.5 yards per carry. The tight end, Sternberger in motion. It is a 1st and 10 for Boyle. And again, Trey Carson, this time wrapped up and taken down by Reggie Ragland. He's a starting middle linebacker. Gain of about 2 on the play out near the Green Bay 42.
Now, as good as that run was on first down for 15 yards, I like that run on second down not to lose yardage.
Your starting offensive line tonight brought to you by Spectrum. DeBeer at one tackle, Nijman at the other. Pankey and Coyle the guards. And you got Carson starting. Vitale started in the backfield. And now it is 2nd down and 9. That's Trevor Davis in motion for Green Bay. Outside they go. With a dance here after the catch by Jamon Moore. Second-year receiver out of Missouri. Picks up 7 on the play and put him at the make it the Green Bay 48.
Good quick throw, accurate on the upfield shoulder, all the little things that when a quarterback gets graded, they get graded as to accuracy, timing, decision-making. It's not just, oh, did he complete it? Oh, yeah, everybody saw that. But it's the accuracy of the throw that's so important.
3rd down and 2. Big play so far. The 15-yard run by Carson. Chiefs were thinking somebody moved prematurely for Green Bay. 3rd and 2. Pocket crumbles, and he got away. A flag is thrown. Got back to the 48. Near the line of scrimmage, and we'll see what that flag is all about. Perhaps holding on that Green Bay offensive line. It's registered a sack right now.
Initially,
Holding.
protection was good.
Offense. Number 71. That penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
So they decline it. Anthony Coyle will pick up the penalty, and Green Bay on their first possessional punt.
Kevin, I think that the pass coverage was so good downfield. You saw Boyle looking to his left, had about 2 receivers over there. Nobody was able to uncover. And that was offensive lineman. It's tough to hold up that extra second.
Well, speaking of good cams, that's certainly what J.K. Scott has had for Green Bay. Last week in Winnipeg, he was terrific. And the second-year punter out of Alabama, punting to Rashad Davis. He's out of James Madison. Fair caught, about the 8. Hang time over 5 seconds. A beauty. With 12:42, that was a 45-yard punt. Green Bay defense on the field next. This game from Lambeau Field is brought to you by Spectrum, by Fleet Farm, and by your local Chevy dealer. Packers have had it. They've punted. And the Chiefs will begin this drive at their 10-yard line with a look at Andy Reid, now in his 7th season, 7th all-time winning coach in the National Football League. They have reached the playoffs in 5 of the 6 seasons that Reid has been there, including 3 straight AFC West Division titles. The quarterback is Kyle Shermer. And the run here on 1st down and 10 by the veteran Carlos Hyde, who picks up 9 on the play. As the starting lineups for the Green Bay defense are brought to you by Spectrum. Looney at one defensive end and Brown at the other. Inside, watch 44 Ty Summers and 54 James Crawford. Holman's got a real chance to make this team. Josh Jackson getting the start of the other cornerback tonight. 2nd down and 1. And Hyde again. Hit by Crawford. Breaks a tackle there. Breaks a tackle by Matthews. And he'll go outside. And finally Crawford is the one to bring him down after a gain of 5. So Hyde with gains of 9 and 5 yards. And a 1st down for Kansas City out near the 24.
Kevin, there is so much what I call heavy thud at practice where you hit your teammate with the shoulder, you don't wrap them up, you don't take them to the ground, that it's hard once you get to the game to remember, hey, I got to shoot my arms all the way around this guy and take him all the way down instead of just that hard hit. Crawford did that, but didn't wrap him up.
Watching him closely tonight, 1st down and 10. Carlos Hyde, who played at Ohio State, back there, and Shermer will dump it off in the flat. It's caught by the tight end, Nick Kaiser, out of Grand Valley State. Brought down on the play by Ty Summers, who was terrific last week in Winnipeg. It's a gain of 9 on 1st down.
Good job that time containing the quarterback in the pocket. Ramsey has him. Doesn't know should he jump. If you jump, he's going to pump you once and then throw it when you come down. So you just run straight at the quarterback and try not to hit him after he throws it, because that would obviously be 15 extra yards.
Defense for the Packers this season will likely have 6 new players from a season ago. None starting tonight. Here's a handoff to Hyde with another tackle by Summers on 1st and 10. And he'll spin his way out to the 36-yard line of Kansas City.
You know, you were talking about all those new players that are going to be playing together next Thursday night for the very first time. Sure, they've been practicing together, but they're going to be on the road, hostile environment. It'll be great to see them out there together trying to work as a unit.
1st down and 10 for the Chiefs. There's a real battle for the backup quarterback in back of the MVP now playing tonight, Patrick Mahomes. With the 1st and 10, shotgun snap here, and that's incomplete. They were looking inside for Byron Pringle out of Kansas State. They had the backup quarterback, Chad Henne. He fractured a foot a couple days ago. while coaching high school in California. Andy Reid signed 35-year-old Matt Moore, who has just arrived learning the offense. So really early on in the season, it's going to be either Chase Litton out of Marshall, or the guy now at rookie out of Vanderbilt, Kyle Shermer, perhaps as the backup quarterback week 1. With a 2nd down and 10. First possession for Kansas City, easily across the middle to Anthony Thomas. He is a blur and run out of bounds by Will Redmond. The catch and run takes him down to the Green Bay 44. It's 20 yards and a Kansas City first down.
When you see a receiver come that wide open, you go, is he that much faster than everybody else? Yeah, he's faster, but also the defensive back is having to go through the traffic. You see the rub route there by the tight end, made the defensive back stop, restart. That allowed the wide receiver to get open. Great concept, great job not causing offensive pass interference by the tight end.
Deion Simon is checked in for the Packers on their line. Matthews has come out, a defensive back, 1st and 10. Shermer, his dad coaches the New York Giants, and down the sideline and incomplete, and looking for Cody Thompson. Coverage down there provided by Kadar Holman, who had a stinger against Baltimore, didn't play last week, in Winnipeg against Oakland, plays tonight and starts for Green Bay.
And that's nice tight coverage. It's interesting when you have to start and you're getting revved up before the game, you almost have to catch your breath late in the drive like this. So you get your second wind in now, because you can see these guys, they're taking their mouthpiece out every chance they get to get some extra oxygen.
2nd down and 10. Fake to Hyde, outside they go here, and it's grabbed on the play by Cody Thompson. Hit by a couple, including Redmond out of Mississippi State. It is a gain of 9, and that means 3rd and 1 coming up for the Kansas City Chiefs in a scoreless first quarter.
Jamerson's out there at cornerback. The receiver has kind of a reduced split around the numbers. So at that point, he can either cross the field or he can run an outside route. He runs that quick out. See, Jamerson's way to the inside instead of being a little more head up on him where he can make the tackle easier.
Packers have 5 in their secondary, 3rd down and 1. Shermer, Hyde, and tackled by Redmond. We'll see if he was able to get the first down. Looks like he may have slithered for enough down to the 33, and the drive stays alive for Kansas City.
You're a defensive coordinator. They've gotten a couple first downs on you. Now I think what you do is you start to apply some pressure. 4 first downs in this drive already. You have to find a way to shut them down on first down, get at least 2nd and 10, maybe even get a negative play right here. I would say gamble, go after the quarterback, get some run blitzes.
5 in the secondary for the Kansas City Chiefs, for the Green Bay Packers, and that's what quarterback Shermer looks at right now. Out of the backfield, he goes to his running back, Marcus Marshall. He slips across the way. Crawford was over there. The gain is down to the Green Bay 28 on a pickup of 5 on first down for the Chiefs.
And the blitz came from the Chiefs' right. They threw away from it to the receiver, running back coming out of the backfield. You see the defensive back coming, number 25 on the outside, coming on the blitz. Redmond, he's too far away, and they're able to get the ball to the running back easily for a nice, easy gain.
Chiefs defense still in the nickel. It's 2nd down and 5 and 11th play of the drive. Rookie quarterback Kyle Shermer out of Vandy. And that is a catch made by Rashad Davis. On his knees, 19 of the Packers. That's a first down. Davis picks up 9, and they continue to move the chains.
It's interesting. When you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, you think of Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They have a lot of Tyreek Hill-sized wide receivers on this team. We just saw one right there. Not real big, but super quick. And those guys are hard to keep up with.
So Carlos Hyde with a couple nice runs of 9 and 5. They had a 20-yard catch and run by DeAnthony Thomas. They've worked their way down to the Green Bay 18. They get the 19 with a 1st and 10. Hyde is in there and to the end zone and caught, dropped, incomplete. He would have been out of bounds anyway. With the coverage by Kadar Holman, the rookie 6th-round pick for the Packers out of Toledo.
You know, when I had a chance to coach the wide receivers for the San Diego Chargers, I don't care if you are going out of bounds. I want you to catch the ball. Well, let's let the officials make that call, all of those things. You want to be able to hang on to that. Good job by the defensive back getting his hands up there and swatting it as he's trying to bring it back in.
Still 5 DBs on this long drive. The Chiefs 2nd down and 10. And Hyde again and wrapped up by Kiki. Kingsley Kiki has been battling a quad issue, a flag thrown on the play, and 6:47 to play here in the first quarter. Drive started back at the 10 of Kansas City. After the Chiefs punted on their first possession with a look at
Illegal
first-year
hands to the
coach
face.
Matt LaFleur.
Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Fadal Brown signed off the Oakland practice
Power
squad.
on running play.
When you're pushing and that guy's pushing on you, you get those hands that slip up. First they're around the neck, then they go up into the face. Man, you've got to get that hand away quickly. But you also don't want to get pushed out of the way. So if you move your hand, you're going to get knocked out and there's going to be a huge hole. Running back might even go for a touchdown.
Hyde is the back. You see the bunch, first and goal. And this is Carlos Hyde. Redmond is there. Also some help from Looney. And they may have been nailed right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a half-yard gain at the very most. That defense has got to be feeling it with the offense of Kansas City looking pretty good.
That's a nice push on first down, though. Runs coming right at you. You stand your ground. You get reinforcements coming from the inside. Everybody makes the play.
This Kansas City offense a season ago was #1 in scoring. Of course, they had the MVP. They had Tyreek Hill. Second down and goal, 15th play of the drive. Shermer to the end zone and incomplete, and he overshoots Rashad Davis. And some pretty good coverage back there for the Green Bay Packers. Holman among them.
Yeah, Holman was right there. You've got a smaller receiver, so you got to try and drop that ball in right on top of him. He doesn't give you a big target that you'd have if you had a 6'4", 6'5" guy.
6 defensive backs for Green Bay. Rouse comes in third and goal.
Really tight formation by the Chiefs. Double receivers on each side.
Looks like a Rams offensive set here.
Or a Chiefs offensive set.
Or a Chiefs offensive set. Shermer, third and goal, crumbling pocket, brought down. Kingsley Kiki brings them down with a sack back to the 10. And the Packer defense holds a long drive by Kansas City. Here comes the field goal unit.
There were 5 Packer defenders lined up on the line of scrimmage at the last moment. 2 dropped out, back into coverage. Sherman looked right, he looked left, then he looked down because he knew he needed to run. The 3-man pressure was consistent. The coverage behind with the 8 was great.
Harrison Buckner will be trying a field goal of 28. Buckner was terrific a season ago, 24-27, a 28-yarder right here and right through, and they get 3, but the Green Bay defense holds them out on a goal-to-go situation. 7 minutes plus on offense for Kansas City and a timeout at Lambeau. Kansas City just got a 28-yard field goal. They held the ball for 7 minutes and 40 seconds, and Green Bay's defense held them out of the end zone as the Chiefs had a goal-to-go situation. Tonight's first quarter action from Lambeau is brought to you by Spectrum. Shepard is deep back. And to kick off is Jack Fox, who's a rookie free agent out of Rice. Kiki with some nice defense and a sack on that third and goal for the Green Bay defense against the Kansas City offense, and Shepard on the move from the 5. And like we said before, he's had a terrific camping out to the 25-yard line is where he takes it. It'll be 1st and 10. Chiefs will go back on defense, and Green Bay's offense back out there relegated to a punt. James Lofton on their first possession.
And I think you want to see something special from the running backs, whether it's carrying the ball, getting out in space, running pass patterns as a part of the passing game. I think that's something that you'd love to see in this ball game, even with your backups.
Again, Matt LaFleur not calling the plays tonight. Lou Getsy is the quarterback coach. The fullback is in. 1st down and 10 from Green Bay's 25. Dexter Williams is in the backfield, and he's sacked again. Brought down Boyle. Hit this time by that interior of Kansas City's defense back near the Green Bay 21.
You know, when Kansas City started this season, they wanted to fix their defense a little bit. They gave up a lot of points. They gave up a lot of yards, but they were tied for the NFL with the most sacks, 52. So it wasn't for a lack of pass rush, what you can see so far this game tonight. They can get after the passer. So you've got to protect your passer when you want to get the ball away.
Atachu comes up with the sack on that defense for Kansas City, the former L.A. Charger. 2nd down and 15. And Boyle to the air. He's got him! And it's incomplete and looking for Davis. With the coverage on the play by Armani Watts. Davis, who was terrific last week with 113 all-purpose yards against the Raiders in Winnipeg.
You know, you used to hear the terminology, football is a game of inches. And one of the things I look at when receivers go deep is how much they turn their shoulders. And that ball, Davis lays all the way out, held his head, sprinted away, just dropped that ball in there, give him a chance to make a play and go the distance.
One thing they're watching from Green Bay's rookie running back Williams, his pass blocking where he has been struggling. He's in there now, 3rd and 15. He goes out on a route. Little screen pass here. McCray a block. And from behind, he was brought down by Jeremiah Atachu. The ball will be taken out to the 29-yard line. It is a gain of 8, but it's 4th and 7. And here comes Green Bay's punting unit once again.
Sometimes the other team has really, really good quality backups. You talk about Atachu, who was a 2nd-round pick with the San Diego Chargers. Then he moves to L.A., and a guy who always made some big impacts in there, a sack and then chased down the running back on that screen. So he's a front-level player when you're looking at players on the field right now.
J.K. Scott will punt once again. 2 Green Bay possessions and 2 punts. First punt sailed over 5 seconds, 45 yards. From the 25-yard line, Rashad Davis in room to roam on the sideline as he works it. He fumbles, and it's recovered by Kansas City near midfield. Looks like it was grabbed on the play by a linebacker. That is Raymond Davison. So it's a 46-yard punt. It's a 23-yard return. The hang time just under 5 seconds again for Scott, who's had a terrific preseason. We step aside. 3:16 first quarter. Back at Lambeau Field, fall into fun at the Radisson Hotel Green Bay, right next to Oneida Casino, offering their great escape package. Find details at radisson.com/Green Bay. Packers have added twice in 2 punts. Packers offensive line has given up 2 sacks. Chiefs had a block in the back. It cost them 37 yards. They're back beginning this drive at their 13. James leading 3-0 on a 28-yard field goal.
It gives the Packers a chance to step up, make some plays, shut them down, and get the ball back with decent field position if they can play some tough defense right here.
Packer defense had a goal-to-go stand, did not allow the Chiefs into the end zone. On that long, almost 8-minute drive, it's 1st and 10. Shermer outside for Davis. Looking for a block out there from Felton Davis. No relation, the rookie free agent out of Michigan State. And Rashad Davis, who's a year out of James Madison, is brought out of bounds by Will Redmond and picks up 7 on the play to the 20.
You know, the crazy thing, Kevin, we are in preseason game number 4. We really don't know what the Green Bay Packers offense is going to look like. You know, we know what Aaron Rodgers looks like. We know what Devontae Adams looks like. This Chiefs offense looks like the Chiefs always do. A lot of quick plays, get the players in space, quickly the ball.
2nd down and 3. Quickly here he goes outside. This is brought in by Jamal Custis, who's a rookie free agent out of Syracuse. The wide receiver will pick up 6. He's to the 26, and it's a 1st down for the Chiefs.
That little movement away from the pass rush, you pin one defender in, you keep them on the line of scrimmage. You see these plays on Friday night at a high school game. Andy Reid has been very receptive to take those skills that high school players or small college players have and use them for the Chiefs.
Chiefs already have 7 first downs to Green Bay's 1. Carlos Hyde, 1st and 10. Hit on the play brought down by Sullivan, who is making a real shot at this roster against the Raiders last week. 4 passes broken up in that game.
It almost seemed like there were 4 plays in a row. They were throwing at him. I watched the Hard Knock series and heard John Gruden say, keep throwing at him. I don't think that was directed at Sullivan. It was directed somewhere else. But Sullivan was making plays every time they tried to go after him.
5 in the secondary for Green Bay. Kansas City 2nd down and 7. Kyle Shermer with Carlos Hyde. He was tripped up that time by Brady Sheldon, a name you've got to watch in this one, making a run for the inside backer. Trips him up enough and limits him to a gain of 2 just beyond the Kansas City 30-yard line.
Great penetration at the line of scrimmage, and then Everybody else comes and is pursuing the play, able to make the tackle. Now you've got them in a situation where the crowd is getting a little bit excited. You know, the players on the sideline, they should be waving the towels or, you know, get some energy going right here.
3rd and 5.
Pressure's coming off the slot.
With 6 in the secondary, there's a big-time hit by Matthews. And it's picked up right here by Davis. He'll race up the sideline, ushered out of bounds by Redmond. Even when it looks bad, it turns out good. The gain out near the 44, a completion of 13 and a first down.
If I'm Matt LaFleur, I'm throwing a challenge flag right now. This ball is an incomplete forward pass. His hand comes forward. It's empty when it does. But I'm throwing the flag. Just see how fast Kansas City went up to the line of scrimmage? You may not win this challenge, but you got to take it.
Now, one of the things that came into play last week with the challenge flag and with timeouts taken is that the head coach, Matt LaFleur, who snapped his Achilles tendon playing basketball in March, can't run up and down the sideline.
Challenging the ruling of a fumble.
It was ruled a fumble.
Yes.
And so the challenge is there in 26 seconds to play in the first quarter. So he couldn't run. So he had Luke Getsy, who is going to be the designated flag guy. He's calling the plays. I guess tonight he's upstairs. So we'll see what happens here. Big time hit put on by Matthews. We step aside. So they have ruled it a fumble. That was the call on the field. It's a 14-yard recovery, a 14-yard run by Davis, and so the Chiefs keep the ball.
It's the empty hand. Those fingertips almost look like they go off the ball, but the officials couldn't see that one.
Hide in the backfield. Quarterback Kyle Schumer with a 1st and 10. Schumer looks good, very comfortable in this backfield with a complicated offense, and this is caught by the tight end Kaiser. 11-yard pickup, 1st down. They take it to the Green Bay 45.
That was the ultimate run-pass option because he faked the run, then he had a chance to run it himself, but he had 2 receivers out there who he could get the ball to immediately because the offensive linemen are blocking down the field. I think that's what Matt LaFleur is asking about.
The first quarter. Timeout.
Chiefs are moving once again. They got a 28-yard field goal on their first drive, but the Green Bay defense held them out of the end zone in a goal-to-go situation. They'll step aside at the end of one. Chiefs 3-zip over the Packers on the Green Bay Packer Television Network. Welcome back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, and tonight's second quarter is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all of your home improvement needs. Kevin Harlan, Hall of Famer, Packers Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame receiver James Lofton,
Stanford Hall of Fame.
Don't get carried away. Lance Allen and John Kuhn on our sideline. We start the second quarter. Kansas City 1st and 10. Shermer, time and the toss. And it goes back to Jamal Custis. Out of Syracuse in front of Jamerson out of Wisconsin. The gain down to the Green Bay 37. It's a pickup of 8 on 1st down for the Chiefs.
Jamerson had him covered, but the receiver was able to beat him back to the quarterback for the ball. When you feel that receiver starting to go, you've got to go along with him and get to the ball and maybe get your hands on it.
2nd down and 2. Packers have had it twice and 2 punts. Hyde in the backfield and the call. Flag. With the tackle made in the secondary by Chandon Sullivan. Gain was inside the 30, now the 28-yard line, but
holding. Offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
The center, Jimmy Murray, out of Holy Cross.
Kevin, every once in a while, I wish I could go down and listen to the defensive huddle. Because in the offensive huddle, it's a little more sterile. The quarterback calls the play. Everybody else is quiet except for that one receiver who's going, I'm open, I'm open. But in that defensive huddle, that middle linebacker who's calling the plays, he's imploring his guys, come on, win the one-on-one battles. Let's beat them at the line of scrimmage. That's what you've got to do right here if you're on defense.
2nd down and 12. Shermer. Outside, great catch, Rashad Davis. Boy, he's been big on this drive and pushed out of bounds by Sullivan on this drive. Davis has had a reception of 7, a reception of 13, a run for 14, and a catch right there, a catch and run of 9 for the Chiefs.
When you see guys like Davis, 5'9", 175 pounds, getting off the bus, you wonder, okay, who brought their little brother to the game? But then when you see him play and you put him out in space, it takes a guy of comparable size to stay up with small, quick players like that. Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of them.
Kyle Shermer, record holder at Vanderbilt. Mentioned before, his dad, the head coach of the New York Giants. 3rd down and 3. Drive started back at the 13, and a quick count and a quick throw. Caught by the tight end, Nick Keiser. Another catch for him, picks up 8. Another Kansas City first down to the Green Bay 30.
It's a quick slant route. He does a nice job in being patient, works to the outside shoulder of the defensive back, and then comes across his face. Somebody's got to step up and be the stopper in this. Kansas City only got a field goal the last time they had a good drive going. Got to stop him, get him out of field goal range.
Shermer has hit 6 in a row. It's 1st and 10. Chiefs in the nickel. Murray the low snap. He was hit. That's intercepted and picked up by Ty Summers. He's got the sideline. It's a foot race. There he goes. That is a pick 6.
Every kid dreams about making big plays in the NFL. For Ty Summers, when he was in high school, Kevin, quarterback and safety. So not only did he have big dreams, but he's grown into being a big linebacker, that time using his old skills that he had as a quarterback to motor down the sideline.
It's a Crosby extra point, and it is no good. And he is in a competition with Ficken. More on that later. But Ty Summers trying to grab a position, comes up with the deflected ball on the hit, and he takes it to the house. 74 yards. And the welcoming party with the leap. Now there was great pressure, and it was put on the quarterback Shermer. Jones with the hit, and a terrific one it was. Marcus Jones out of Angelo State. Waved by Baltimore, reeled in by the Packers. Summers got the ball on the deflection. Summers, whose dad played college football quarterback at Howard Payne University in Brownwood, Texas, showed some great athleticism on that return of 74 yards. Extra point miss, 6-3 Packers. And let's go down to the field and John Kuhn.
Guys, that hit by Marcus Jones there. Keep in mind, Marcus Jones was signed 1 week into camp this year, but coming out in the fourth preseason games, making a play like that, forcing a turnover that turns into points, that's precisely the type of things that happen in preseason game 4 that get guys on rosters when the regular season comes around.
Re-kick by Green Bay.
James, how about this? 2 non-offensive touchdowns for this defense all of last season. They've already had 2 in this preseason.
Well, it's getting after it, being, not giving up on a drive either. Here's a drive that looked like Kansas City's just humming down the field, doing everything that they want, and somebody steps up and they make a play. I'm curious, so when I see big linebackers running down the field, I think John Kuhn, if he'd been on the field, would he have been able to get the angle on him?
Guys,
you definitely, John, you could have gotten the angle.
I
That
would
was your
have
bread
taken
and
the
butter.
I would have been running straight for the pylon to try and catch Ty Summers.
Oh man, Summers showed some wheels there, didn't he?
He was a dual threat in high school. He was a running quarterback.
Quarterback safety, yeah.
John, hang on after this kickoff. I got to ask you a question about the kicking battle because we just saw Mason Crosby miss a PAT. He is in a battle for his job. There was an offsides on Green Bay. Here is the re-kick, and Smith will take it up as he works his way to the 35-yard line and brought down by the running back Ford, and that was a 29-yard return. John, what's your read on the kicking battle between veteran Mason Crosby and Sam Ficken?
Well, Sam's really had a pretty good camp. He started pretty hot. As time has moved on, though, and Mason had come back from the calf injury that he had at the beginning of training camp, Mason has really kind of taken over and done really good things. I'm sure that extra point right there is weighing on him, though.
Of course, we know that he's only had about Crosby about 80% conversion on field goals the last 2 years. So he is in a battle. And Shermer with the 1st and 10 from his own 34. Boy, that defense has got to be getting tired. And that's batted down and caught. Grabbed right there by Looney, and they call it incomplete. Must have hit the turf. There was so much congestion inside, you couldn't see arms from hands and hands from grass and everything else, and it is going to be incomplete.
But I've always wondered why defensive players, when the ball hits the ground, they pick it up and they run with it like they just caught it out of the air.
Yeah, well, because they're trying to fake it. Kiki got the pressure on there. Why not, right? You don't know.
Great job getting everybody's hands up, though. On a short pass, if you're not going to get to the quarterback, get those hands up in the passing lanes.
They maneuver the running back, Marcus Marshall. 2nd down and 5 on the incompletion. Marshall. Oh, that's a fumble recovered by Kansas City and recovered by Marcus Jones. He's the guy with the quarterback on the last one and caught that ball up. He's just gotten his 2nd takeaway. Fumble recovery for Marcus Jones.
That run pass option, the quarterback has the ball and the mesh point. You don't know if he's going to take it, give it. They can't decide. Packers ball.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Spectrum, by Menards, and by Toyota. Well, how pretty is that picture right there? We've got the world champions displayed.
And there's space for more championships, too.
Yes, there are.
Very convenient.
Well, when you've got number 12 there, that's always the possibility. And certainly the Kansas City Chiefs are thinking about great things after going to the AFC Championship game a year ago and losing to New England. End around. Here comes Trevor Davis hurdling his own blocker and taken down in the secondary by Armani Watts. There was no gain on the play. It's interesting. End arounds and jet sweeps look alike. This was an end around.
It's an end around. If it had been handed off to the running back at first, then it would have been a reverse, because you would reverse field. The jet sweeps are balls that that receivers come in straight down the line, and either you flip it to them or you turn around and hand it to them right from the snap from the center.
Nijman and DeBeer are the tackles. No changes on the line. 2nd down and 10 for the Packers. Quarterback is Tim Boyle. 2nd and 10. Here comes Carson. He's got a 15-yard run already tonight. Hit by a handful. Watts is there. Flag is thrown. Gain to the 27. The referee tonight is Alex Kemp here at Lambeau on a beautiful, beautiful late summer night.
Holding. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down, Packers.
John Kuhn on the sideline.
Hey guys, you're talking about reverses, end arounds, and jet sweeps. I got a question for James. James, how often did you get a jet sweep when you played?
Well, I didn't get a jet sweep, but I had the reverses for a while. I had the longest run in playoff history. Against the Dallas Cowboys. Ed Too Tall Jones is still chasing me.
I'm going to bring that up in just a second. 1st down and 10. From the Kansas City 22, Boyle. Blocked by Nijman, and it's behind the intended receiver. That's the tight end, Jay Sternberger, who's been out and missed 3 weeks with a concussion. I was talking to someone who was at that game, someone you know well, and that person said that when you took that end around against the Cowboys, there was a silence inside that stadium that was unbelievable. They were stunned at how fast you ran.
In a 4-man front, the center is uncovered. And if you look at my 2 long reverses, one against the Giants on Monday Night Football and that one against the Cowboys, Larry McCarron is out in front.
2nd down and 10. Battaglia is the fullback. And Boyle to the end zone with touch and looking for Davis. That's interference, and it's going to be called on Mark Fields out of Clemson.
Boy, Davis
a rookie
did
free agent.
Everything he could to try and get to that ball. That's great job, because that tells you that you're being interfered with. Look at his jersey. Ripped off of
Defense, number 26. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
It was circumstantial evidence and it was visual evidence.
Yes,
it was covered every box.
That's
there.
Close encounters of the third kind. Actual physical contact there at the end, too. But I like the fact that Trevor Davis tries to then become the defender once that defensive back is in position to make the play.
Trey Carson is the running back Green Bay has 3 first down, 2 by penalty, and it is 1st and goal. Fake to Carson, the block, and a toss in the end zone, and broken up beautifully by Morris Claiborne. He is a veteran, 8 years out of LSU, a veteran of the NFL, and the reason why he is playing tonight, he will be suspended the first 4 games of the season, so the Chiefs are going to give him a lot of looks. But what a play there. Wow.
Yeah. You know, that was that spider banana play. That's exactly what that was. You see the fullback out in the flat, and then the tight end running the kind of banana route to the back of the end zone.
Evan Bayless was the intended receiver. Trey Carson is the back on a 2nd down and goal. Here he comes. Hits it hard. Grabbed up high. Hunter Dimmick, who's out of Utah, and a defensive end for the Chiefs with a flag thrown. With the gain down to the 5. The banana spider. What'd you say? Banana
spider 2Y banana. That's John Gruden's play. He always talks about it.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 26. Half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
So Mark Fields has been called for 2 penalties on this drive, a PI and a face mask right there. Not good.
No, but both of them are what I consider effort penalties. You know, he's trying to make a play. It's not like he lined up all sides or illegal contact. He's trying to make a play at the point of attack on both times, and they just end up on the short end of the stick.
1st and goal, 3 first downs by penalty on this drive after the Chiefs recovered a fumble. The Packers recovered a fumble by the Chiefs, and here comes the quarterback Boyle. He's got a touchdown to Sternberger. Jay Sternberger, the rookie 3rd-round pick out of Texas A&M, takes it in. Boyle with another touchdown pass for Green Bay. And the Packers, and the quarterback will take a leap as well. The Packers have cashed in on 2 Kansas City turnovers.
Do you remember when the NFL was still kind of the no-fun league? You were allowed to get one person to leap into the stands, and now you can have multiple guys go up and leap into the stands. So kudos to the NFL for allowing them to do that. And Sternberger, this is the first time we've gotten a chance to see him play.
It is.
That's kind of neat, yeah.
This time with a concussion. So here is the PAT.
There is no foul after the play. The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Boyle in this preseason has been terrific with touchdown passes in all the games, and tonight another one with no turnovers. It's Ficken right down the middle with this PAT. 2 Green Bay touchdowns, both off of takeaways. Sternberger gets that short 2-yard pass from Boyle, set up on a Green Bay fumble recovery, and the Packers jump off to a 10-point lead over the Chiefs. 10-10 first half. Sternberger getting the touchdown reception, a little 2-yarder from the quarterback Boyle. And time for the Chevrolet scoring summary. Chevy, proud to be the best-selling brand in Wisconsin and the official vehicle of the Green Bay Packers. Trust Chevy on your team. Visit your local Chevy dealer today. The kickoff by Ficken. Deep back, the running back lets it fly over his head. That's Tremon Smith out of Central Arkansas. Touchback to the 25. Good defensive effort so far by the Packers.
Kevin, you want to be able to make what I call those splash plays. A sack, an interception, a fumble recovery. The Packers have done all of that. They've gotten everybody who was sitting by the pool just sunning themselves. They've all gotten wet, and they're having a great time soaking it up.
Shermer remains the quarterback for Kansas City, 1st and 10, and Hyden is in the backfield for the Chiefs. And make this Marshall, who takes it into the grasp of Brady Sheldon, originally undrafted by Oakland in 17. A dark horse now perhaps to make this roster. He's out of Ferris State. It's a gain of 5 right there. The gain out to the 30-yard line of Kansas City.
The guys who are getting to play tonight should be a reflection of the rest of your team and what your team is about. For the Kansas City Chiefs, they've got an established team under Andy Reid. First-year coach Matt LaFleur, not playing a lot of starters, bulk of the preseason, kind of trying to find the identity a little bit.
Marshall in the backfield, 2nd down and 5, and Shermer down the sideline and caught on the play by Fortson. What a grab! He is 6'6". He's out of Valdosta State, and that time he was going up for the jump ball and lassos it. And the ball with the Packer down across the way, and the flag is thrown to a flag across the way to the 33 of the Packers on a 36-yard completion.
When you're 6'6", it's a little bit easier to high point the ball. This ball is thrown exceptionally well, a little bit of hand fighting, nothing that would cause a penalty, and just takes it away from the defensive back. He's in good position there. That's why you get number 1 when you walk into the equipment room.
Yes, exactly. Look at him, 6'6" is something else.
Might have been a little chirping along the sideline there for the Chiefs.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, Kansas City, number 1. That is number 1's first taunting foul for the game. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You know, Kevin, because I played a long time ago, I think that maybe I didn't do that kind of stuff. But you know what? I look back on some of the old highlights, and we did the same type of things. When you are a young player, you get a little bit exuberant, and you need to really approach this as a business. And is what I'm doing on the field going to hurt my team?
Chiefs were a penalized ball club a season ago. 1st and 10 from the 49 of Green Bay. Marshall will hesitate. Grabbed around the waist by Randy Ramsey. Rookie free agent out of Arkansas with a gain of 1 down to the Packer 48.
The Chiefs have run a lot of plays in this first half. And for the Packers to have held them to only 3 points, to have taken an interception return back for 6 points, to turn the other fumble that they got into 7 points. Defensively, they've made those splash plays, but they need to continue to hold up on 1st down just like they did on that last play.
Packers with 5 in the secondary, 2nd down and 9. Nice tackle from behind. Once again, it's Ramsey as he grabs the ankles of Marshall. With a gain of a yard near the Green Bay 47.
You get in a little bit of a rhythm. You understand if you're an inside linebacker how that nose tackle is playing in front of you, what they're trying to do when they double team. And you see that double team and you're able to shoot the gap right away. You don't hesitate and wait for the double team guy to come off on you.
Ty Summers coming off at that 74-yard touchdown return on an interception. Here is a 3rd and 8. Packers go with 6 in the secondary. Kyle Shermer, time and the toss. Grabbed and a nice tackle made on the play. The reception by Custis with the hit on the play by Holman and others. A gain of 5, and now it'll be 4th down.
Now, there's a little bit of hesitation on the Chiefs sideline there as to whether or not they were going to try and go for it. Go straight up to the line here. You don't need to really hurry if you're the Chiefs. So you get up to the line of scrimmage and you're going to try and draw the Packers offside. So right now it should be ice cube, ice cube. Everybody be cool up front if you're the Packers.
Ice cube, ice cube.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that. Dustin Colquitt is going to punt for the Chiefs in their first punt tonight. The back is Trevor Davis. Terrific last week at the 5 and down right there. Beautiful punt. Hang of just under 5 seconds. And the Chiefs will be marooned deep in their own zone on a 39-yarder right there, and under 7 to play in the first half. And DeLance Allen down on the sideline.
Kevin, thank you very much. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but there are 8 referees on the field instead of 7. Just what you need. More refs, right? Well, there's a reason for it. 2 umpires out there. One is spotting the ball, and that way the referee that normally does that, they have a chance to cover the field more and obviously better clock management. Get that clock rolling. So something to look for. Guys, back up to you.
Good stuff. Thank you.
One of the other things it does is it leaves an extra set of eyes on the quarterback after he gets rid of the football.
Kaiser is the new quarterback for Green Bay. Dexter Williams will corkscrew his way past the 5 and pick up 2. Deshaun Kaiser, who has had a so-so preseason, But you talk to people that watch practice every day,
Yes.
and you read the stories, and they still think he may have a slight edge.
The evaluation process does not just happen on Thursday night. It happens OTAs, it happens at mini camps, it happens in the classroom. And still the fact that he's had those starts in NFL games, it's a little bit of street cred in his back pocket, but Boyles played exceptionally well also.
You're the 2nd down and 8, and Vitale is the fullback in the backfield. And Kaiser going long. And right through the hands, it appeared, of the receiver, T.O. Redding out of Bowling Green. There was every coverage on the play, and 3rd and 8 coming up as Kaiser airs one out.
I don't know if you could really place the ball a lot better than Kaiser just placed the ball. It looked like Redding just at the last moment takes the hands up, and either he doesn't extend them far enough or doesn't lay out for the ball. Oh, that's a pretty good throw by Kaiser under a lot of pressure.
Look at Aaron Rodgers, who will not go this entire...
Trying to read that poker face, there's no chance to do that.
Well, I know it. He looks like a poker player with that handlebar mustache. 3rd down and 8. Kaiser time. And he can move quickly, and he gets away that time from the oncoming rush of McCray, and he takes it up the sideline, and he's got the first down. At the 19-yard line, Deshaun Kaiser. He picks up 13 on the play.
He went from, he's about to be tackled for a safety,
yes,
to a huge play. Just that little bit, you've been on the field enough where you don't panic when things are happening, and that's a good play by Deshaun Kaiser there.
Deshaun Kaiser started those 15 games for the Cleveland Browns back in 2017, and while at Notre Dame before that, number 3 in school history in completion percentage, number 4 in passing yards, top 10 in passing touchdowns. After that 13-yard run, here's a handoff to Williams on 1st and 10. Wrapped up on the play by Dimmick out of Utah. Flag is thrown as he shoulders his way near. There's another late flag thrown. He shouldered his way for the run out to the 24-yard line of the Packers. Both teams coming in 1 and 2. Kansas City picked by many to make the Super Bowl, coming out of the AFC. And should things go Matt LaFleur's way in his first-year coach in the Green Bay Packers, they could make a run as well. But Reed has put together some marvelous seasons, and Kansas City may be the overwhelming favorite to at least meet a team out of New England like they did a year ago in the AFC Championship. Yep, again. They've had a wonderful run with Andy Reid, who's had 5 10-plus winning seasons in 6 years. And his coaching tree is just absolutely incredible with guys like John Harbaugh.
By the offense.
Hold on.
2 fouls by the offense.
John Harbaugh and Doug Peterson, Sean McDermott, Matt Nagy with Chicago, Pat Shurmur with the New York Giants, Steve Spagnuolo, who's his new defensive coordinator. After they finished 31st in total yards allowed per game and 24th in points allowed a season ago.
This is one of those complicated ones where it might be a dead ball foul that gets added on to the foul that happened during the play.
Good point.
That's why they need 8 of them.
Yes, that's right.
There were 2 fouls by the offense. Holding, number 57. That penalty is declined. After the play was over, personal foul, number 75. That penalty will be accepted. Half the distance from the end of the run. It'll be 2nd down.
So DeBeer is demand. Spent last 5 weeks of last season.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. There it goes.
Yeah, see, that to me, that doesn't constitute a foul. That's just, I don't want to walk around you, so move out of the way.
But to those 8 guys in the field, it did. 2nd down and 17. Kaiser heavily pushed, intercepted, picked off by Lucas. Jordan Lucas has just picked off Deshaun Kaiser, who has thrown his 2nd preseason interception. They got Jordan Lucas in a trade from Miami last year. He's out of Penn State, and he has just given the Chiefs offense great position.
Jamon Moore, who's crossing the field, chokes it down instead of continues on the route. So a little bit of miscommunication there between quarterback and wide receiver. He's throwing the ball out in front. Jamon Moore is stopping, thinking he's going to get the ball right there in the hole of the zone.
It's a goal to go for the Kansas City Chiefs. They've got the ball at the Green Bay 7. Shermer is the quarterback. Marshall will bang his way inside the 5 and brought down by Crawford as he nudges his way near the 4.
This is where you'd love to have a big, dominant defensive end. Somebody who can defeat the tackle at the line of scrimmage, penetrate in the backfield, disrupt the running back. Not just waiting for the linebackers to make a play, because if that's the case, the guy's going to get to the line of scrimmage. He's going to gain some yardage. You need the negative play that only a big defensive lineman can get started right here.
It's a 2nd down and goal. Davis in motion. Marshall. And Crawford again around the waist. Crawford showing well tonight. He's been in on several tackles so far for the Packers. Trying to win a spot at that inside linebacker. We know he can play special teams.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Crawford. They run power, which means they pull the backside guard, and Crawford sees that, so he shoots through the gap created from when the guard pulled. He's able to chase down the play from the backside.
Remember, Green Bay had a good goal-to-goal stand against this Kansas City offense on the first possession of the game. 3rd and goal.
Watch the way Kansas City tries to spread it out to take those extra defenders out the box. Then he brings the fullback back in here.
Packers in the nickel. 3rd and goal. Shermer to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Fortson right in front of Natrell Jamerson. A touchdown by the Chiefs. They cash in on the pick on a 2-yard throw to the 6'6" rookie free agent, Jody Fortson, out of Valdosta State.
Ball positioning, most of these 6'6" guys thought they were going to be playing in the NBA. Didn't have an outside shot from 3-point range, but they are great at really walling off a smallish defensive back down in the red zone.
Fortson gets it. Here is Harrison Butker, who will try the extra point, and it is good. And it's a 3-point game with under 4 to play in the first half. All 3 touchdowns in this game have been scored off of turnovers. And Fortson, who earlier had a 36-yard reception, then a subsequent taunting penalty, comes up and regains his form with a 2-yard touchdown pass. Well, just think about throwing up to that guy in the end zone from a Patrick Mahomes throw.
You know, I still wonder, when did it become really, really popular, Kevin, to throw the ball inside the 10-yard line, inside the 5-yard line to the wide receivers? Because I was tall. I don't remember that happening a lot.
And you could jump.
Yeah, I could jump, but I couldn't shoot, though. You talk about a brick as a basketball player, that was me.
Well, luckily for you, you didn't have to shoot when you were playing football. The thing about Mahomes running and looking for guys like this.
Yeah.
And he's kind of outside the box. He's an outlier in what Kansas City has at wide receiver, with smaller wide receivers like Tyreek Hill.
He's kind of like our Allen Lazard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lazard not playing tonight, by the way. Shepard will take it from 3 yards deep, and away he goes. And he was tripped up on the play and brought down by Morris, Claiborne, and Smith. It's a 21-yard return. So we have 2 very distinct mustaches tonight. And I'm not sure if John Kuhn or Lance Allen called for this comparison, but sure enough, we know what Andy looks like, and there is Aaron.
I think I could see both of them coming out of a Western bar in 1885, walking down Dodge and calling each other out there.
So Kaiser, who threw a pick the last time out there, has it 1st down and 10. He's at his own 19. With the pitch out to Trey Carson. Tries to cut the corner. Doesn't have the speed of Dexter Williams, but there are some things he does well. And right there he picked up a couple. Had an earlier run in this game of 15 on the Packers' first possession. It's 2nd down and 8. Luke Getsy is the one who's calling the plays. The quarterback coach, Nathaniel Hackett, is the offensive coordinator. But Matt LaFleur was saying that there's a fake right there, and Kaiser going back with some pressure and incomplete at the feet of his tight end, Sternberger. So one of the reasons we're going to let Getsy do it is because Nathaniel Hackett has called plays in Buffalo and with Jacksonville.
Yeah. You know, I talked to Nathaniel Hackett before the game. He was let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars in November of last year. They had lost their starting left tackle, lost a bunch of other linemen. Leonard Fournette wasn't playing well. And so Nathaniel Hackett kind of became the scapegoat and was out of football for a while. And he said, I said, what'd you do? He said, I just tried to not think about it and enjoy the time with my family.
His dad, of course, Paul Hackett, who was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs back when Montana played there. 3rd down and 8, Carson in the backfield, and that's caught across the middle. It's grabbed by Redding, and he's got the first down to the 30. Has it by a yard. Good throw by Kaiser. They pick up 9 on that play, and the Packers will move the chains.
5-man pass rush, very calm, feet in the pocket for Kaiser. Looks, sees the receiver coming, and the receiver's not wide open here. This ball has to be put right on the money. It is a great catch at the end, but even better throw by DeShone Kaiser.
1st down and 10. Bohannon, the fullback. Good time for Carson. He'll swing one down the middle, and he's got Redding again. At midfield, hit by O'Daniel, who's coming off an injury. Dorian O'Daniel. It's a 20-yard pickup. Redding just had a 9-yard catch for a first down. This is out to midfield for a first.
Take your time, catch your breath. 2-minute warning coming up. Great job by the offensive line, giving Kaiser a chance to really get the ball down the field. Push it down the field.
2-minute warning. Timeout.
We're at the 2-minute warning, and the Packers holding on to a 3-point lead, a pick 6 and a 2-yard touchdown pass. We're at the 2-minute warning. The Packers have the ball. They lead by 3. Tonight's ground game stats are powered by Cenex. Be sure to stop at your local Cenex to fuel up on the way to your next Packers game. Cenex is the proud petroleum partner of the Packers. 1st down and 10. Redding just caught one for 20. Pinpoint pass by Kaiser. Trey Carson in the backfield. The Packers have 2 timeouts. And Carson looking for a hole. And he's down to the 46-yard line and hit by Savon Walker. He's out of Maryland. It's a pickup of 4 on the play.
In this 2-minute drive with Jay Steinberger on the field, we'll get a glimpse of maybe how the Packers might use Jimmy Graham when he's in at tight end in this spot.
2nd down and 6. John Kaiser. He'll throw out, and here is Redding, who is brought down by Mark Fields. It's a gain of 3 to the Kansas City 44.
You're being generous. That was about as short a route as you can get.
3rd down 4. Now with Carson remaining in the backfield, here comes Kaiser. And he's got Carson right there. He's got the first down, working his way down to the Kansas City 30. Brought down on the play by Raymond Davison out of Cal. A catch and run of 13 yards and a first down.
Great catch to run transition quickly by the running back, almost with eyes in the back of his head because he knew where to cut.
1st down and 10. Here comes a wobbly pass, and Sternberger can't hold on to the ball. And Harold Jones-Cordy could not have done probably a better job in coverage. He was all over the rookie tight end for Green Bay.
At some point in his route, Sternberger should have widened the defender even more, and not just bend it in so softly. Give him a hard shake to the outside so that you create some separation.
Chiefs have all 3 of their timeouts. Packers have 2. 47 seconds to play here in the first half. From the Chiefs, 31 timeout Kaiser. Which is all right. You know, this is a pretty important possession for him personally.
They're second.
And I think Sternberger was shaken up a little bit. He's got a little hitch in his giddy up there.
And we know he just is seeing his first action of the preseason, the 3rd round pick, Sternberger, out of Texas A&M. He was a first-team All-America, first-team All-SEC. Last season had 10 touchdown receptions. He set a school record for a tight end, and he was number 1, Sternberger was, in college football tight ends receiving touchdowns, and number 2 in college football tight end receiving yards.
And he falls a little awkwardly there.
He did.
And one of the things I've always said, that when you don't come up with the ball, the adrenaline leaves your body.
Left leg looked like it took kind of a weird jolt. 2nd and 10. DeShone Kizer. There's a good catch, and it's made by tight end Evan Bayless out of Oregon. Has the ball at the Kansas City 20. And that is a first down with a pickup on the play of 10. Kansas City falling back on defense.
A little faster here.
Packers have one timeout. Kizer with a low pass. There's Shepard sliding with the catch and brought down by Rashad Fenton out of South Carolina. Gain to the 17 of the Chiefs.
Timeout. Green Bay. Their third and final. 30-second timeout.
Now, on the detailed coaching of DeShone Kizer, that's a plus for decision making, a plus for completion, but a minus for accuracy. Because if he's accurate with that ball, puts it up in the chest, Shepard's able to get out of bounds and stop the clock, and you don't have to use your last timeout.
Redding on this drive caught one for 20, catch and run, 13 yards by the running back Carson. Bayless, the tight end, caught one for 10 from Kizer on a drive that began back at the Green Bay 19. Coming up at halftime, Lance and John will provide their analysis. Plus, you'll get a chance to meet rookie linebacker Rashawn Gary out of Michigan. Former Wolverine, 12th overall pick in the draft. And it was an emotional night for him and for the former first team All Big Ten honoree when he was drafted. John and Lance will talk about that at halftime. Second down and 7. Kizer. And to the end zone, floating one up for Redding. He stepped out of bounds, caught the ball, but he stepped on the chalk, and there's a flag. There's your offensive pass interference.
He was first to touch when he came back in, but he was also jostled out of bounds by Fields again while the ball was in the air.
Pass interference. Defense number 26.
Yes.
The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball is placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down, Green Bay.
Out of bounds, but pushed that way. The third penalty goes on Mark Fields out of Clemson, having a tough night. First and goal.
You talk about super decision-making time here. If I'm the Packers, I bring in Dexter Williams and I see if he can vault over the top. I know I don't have any timeouts, but I want to see if he can make that type of play.
He stepped on the chalk, was shoved that way. Fields picks it up. No timeouts. 11 seconds in the quarter. With Bayless in motion, DeShone Kizer first and goal at the 1. And to the end zone for wide receiver Redding. Incomplete in 7 seconds there. And Fields on the Kansas City coverage.
And I think that DeShone Kizer is well aware that Maurice Claiborne is number 20. He's playing the other corner. Former number 1 pick with the Dallas Cowboys. Was at the Jets the last couple of years. He's staying away from him, and he's found his new best friend, Mark Fields, to throw the ball at.
Well, the Packers can't take a sack either because they've got no timeouts. It's got to get away, and it's second down and goal. Chiefs have all 3 of their timeouts. Carson in the backfield. Kizer to the end zone. He's got him! That's a Bayless tight end touchdown reception. So is that tight end, who is a first-year player and has been battling a calf, and camp comes up with a play. In back of him as he was celebrating off the field on a cart, Jay Sternberger. His night probably finished. That left leg and knee a deep concern. The extra point is up and it is good. And that was by Crosby. So now Bayless becomes a somewhat important player if Sternberger is out with an injury.
Well, and what you are doing as a player at this juncture, focusing on what you can control. You hear guys say that all the time. But if you looked at that touchdown play, very similar to the play that the Kansas City Chiefs missed on earlier when they couldn't complete that same pass. That time the tight end, the mesh ruck point was there, the separation, all of the above, they're able to complete it and make the touchdown play.
Bayless on that drive had a catch for 10. Carson had the 13-yard catch and run. And Redding had a 20-yard pass completion. They go 81 yards in 3 minutes and 40 seconds and 3 seconds left. And the Chevrolet scoring summary, proud to be the best-selling brand in Wisconsin, the official vehicle of the Green Bay Packers. Trust Chevy on your team. Visit your local Chevy dealer today. Crosby with the kickoff. And the running back will take it out. That is Tremon Smith. Looking for a block. Got it. On the move and up the sideline. And brought down by newly signed Jacques
the end of the
Kaleli.
first half.
As we come to halftime. Packers get a 1-yard touchdown pass from Kaiser. A 2-yard touchdown pass from Boyle. And a pick six from Ty Summers. They score on offense and defense. 3 touchdowns for Green Bay in the final 13 minutes of the first half. Leading the Chiefs by 10 on the Packers television network. Welcome back. We're getting ready to go to the second half with the Green Bay Packers leading the Kansas City Chiefs by 10. In that first half, Kaiser began 0 of 3 with a pick. Since that time, 7 of 9, touchdown pass, and looked good. Looked real good. So Ficken is going to kick off the second half for the Green Bay Packers. Tonight's second half kickoff is presented by Fleet Farm, built for real life. Kansas City Chiefs a season ago, 12-4. And lost in overtime, you may recall, to Brady and the New England Patriots. So the hopes are high in Kansas City. None of their starters going tonight. Here is the kickoff to get the second half underway. Fenton will take it with a broken tackle and up the sideline and takes it just past the 30-yard line of the Chiefs. With the hit made by Kansas City to break him free. And a return of 31 yards. Moments ago, Lance Allen caught up with Packers head coach Matt LaFleur.
Joined by head coach Matt LaFleur. And Matt, I tell you what, the young guys stepping up tonight. You got Marcus Jones, who wasn't even in camp to start, creating things, and then Ty Summers picking it off. What have you seen for the young guys tonight that you've really liked?
Yeah, I just love our effort. I think the guys are putting it all out there on the field, and then really the difference in the game right now is the turnovers and penalties.
First look at Jay Sternberger in a game. What did you see out of him that you liked?
Oh yeah, no, he's playing hard. You know, there's some good, some bad, but we'll take a look at it tomorrow.
And Luke Getzky is calling the plays tonight, so different perspective for you. What is that like?
It is a little bit different, but no, it gives me a good chance to step away and kind of make sure our communication is on point, and then just noticing how we get in and out of the huddle, and just observing everything.
Matt, good luck in the second half.
Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem. Matt LaFleur joining us right here on the Packers TV Network. Kevin James.
So there was a throw outside, as you saw. There was a penalty called on Green Bay. And now it is 1st and 10 for the Chiefs. Chase Litton out of Marshall is the Kansas City quarterback. Running back is Marcus Marshall. With the 1st and 10 for Kansas City. And there's another flag thrown. With a pile in the middle and not much room as he nudges his way past midfield into Packer territory.
Holding. Offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Zach Goldich. Waved by Arizona out of Colorado State. Picks it up in the offensive line. He is the right guard for the Chiefs.
So once again, when you're in that meeting room and you're going over the offensive plays, the defensive plays, there was a win right there for the Packers because you've defeated the blocker, gotten toward the runner, and you have to be held. So that's double bonus points right there.
Litton with the first down and 20. Back at the Kansas City 39, Marshall gets the call. And from behind, Marcus Jones makes the stop. The rookie out of Angelo State, allowing just a gain of 4 up to the Kansas City 43.
I talked about the backups being a reflection of the guys that are playing in front of them. Be opportunistic. Run, stop the run. The Packers, for the most part, other than the very first drive of the game, have stopped the run. They've been very opportunistic, creating turnovers, taking the ball away. They've done a lot of things really well on defense. Just have to continue it and be in the moment.
Packers staying in the nickel. 2nd and 16 for the Chiefs at their own 43. They come on the side, and here goes the pass by Litton, and it's incomplete. And he was aiming for the tight end, Kaiser, downfield. It was covered. Incomplete pass. 3rd and 16 for the Chiefs with a look at Mike Pettin, who in the second year with this defense for the Green Bay Packers, you would think it'd be a little bit more natural. But he may have, as we talked about before, 6 new starters, 6 new faces on the defense this season.
I mean, there are going to be new guys, young guys all up and down. You look at Zadarius and Preston Smith, Adrian Amos. Those are the 3 big money guys that they went out and got. But you've also drafted the last couple of years a lot of young players on this defense.
3rd and 16, you see the flags.
False start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Khalil McKenzie, whose dad, Reggie McKenzie, was in the Green Bay personnel department from 2004 to 2011, then went for the Raider GM job out in Oakland.
It's funny because Reggie is a twin.
Yes.
His twin brother Raleigh was a great offensive lineman for the Washington Redskins. It was really the more prominent of the 2 players. And Reggie hired Raleigh when he got the big job with the Oakland Raiders as the GM.
3rd and 21. They need the Green Bay 41. Litton off in the flat, caught by Marshall. Out there with the beat on him was Crawford. Then finally hit and brought down, but looked by Ramsey, and he gets shy of midfield out to about the Kansas City 46. And the punting unit will take the field. It was a gain of 8, and it's 4th and 13 for Kansas City.
So all the little things that happen during the course of a game, now Shepard gets to go back. His heels are going to be on the 10-yard line. How does he field this punt? Does he call for a fair catch if it's high? Does he try and block the Gunners as they escape down? He'd love to get his hands on it and run it, but he has to make smart decisions here.
Jack Fox, the punt. Basically a windless night. Shepard on the move, 16-yard line. Short hang time and forced out of bounds. The long snapper, James Winchester, chases him out of bounds. Packers will get it for the first time. Up by 10, early 3rd. Tonight's game from Green Bay brought to you by Travel Wisconsin, by Spectrum, and by Quick Trip. DeShone Kizer remains the quarterback and opens up the second half for Green Bay. From the 28, 1st down and 10. Hit as he throws. Wobbly pass and incomplete. And Pharaoh McKeever may have been in his sights. Pressure on DeShone Kizer. 2nd down and 10.
You know, quarterbacks are stationary people when they're in the pocket, but as you're moving forward and into that, that's quite the jolt that DeShone Kizer had to withstand right there. I think his running back might have let him down there because that linebacker came from the outside. As the running back, you've got to see that blitzer.
Nijman is the left tackle, DeBeer the right tackle, and here's a handoff, and it goes to Williams. He's brought down by Saunders on that defensive line for the Chiefs. And the Green Bay running back picks up 2 to the 30-yard line. Green Bay 3 of 3 on 3rd down in this game with Kizer at the helm.
In this set right here, you're going to go 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. You've got Shepard kind of in the slot. You've got the tight end line wide to the right by himself. So all 3 wide receivers, the top on the left.
3rd down and 8. Green Bay needs their 38. Here they come. He moves up nicely, and he runs into his own blocker, DeBeer, and down he goes. A lot of pressure. That time the pressure coming from Savon Walker out of Maryland with Kansas City on the defensive line.
Boy,
the punting
it looked
comes
like
out.
The Chiefs were in the neutral zone, Kevin. DeShone Kizer did a good job with his voice, giving them a hard count. They looked like they had come across, and they might have gotten away with one right there. You see him smiling a little. Watch right at the top. See that little bit of movement. The Packers pointing at him. Maybe he didn't encroach into the neutral zone enough. Though.
Well, we knew that was a problem in the AFC Championship game, didn't we? We saw that. Big penalty against the Chiefs there. Here comes Scott with the punt. Rashad Davis back for the Chiefs. Drifting back to the 25. And skipping through some defenders and special teamers and brought down. Hit by Ramsey. 54-yard punt, 10-yard return. On defense, let's go to John Kuhn.
Hey guys, we know Mike Pettine's not calling the defensive plays tonight, but who is? Well, Mike Smith started in the first quarter, the outside linebackers coach. Then it went to Jason Simmons, the D-backs coach. We are now in the third quarter, and we have another coach, Ryan Downer, the assistant D-backs coach. And then in the fourth quarter, the quality control coaches for the defensive side will take over. I'm going to see if I can get down there and call blitz here for the second half. Back to you.
That.
Oh, yeah.
That would be nice.
All-out blitz.
Very
as long
good.
as they don't have a fullback in to pick them all up, John, that's all.
Look at Mike Pettin, who Matt LaFleur has said is a great resource. LaFleur, first-year head coach, and Pettin has been in that seat before. Mike Pettin in his second season is the Packers defensive coordinator. After the punt, 1st and 10, batted down. He almost got the deflected pass incomplete.
Now, Kevin, you've been around long enough. I've been around long enough where you used to have offensive coaches and defensive coaches. Now you have coordinators on both sides. You also have run game coordinators, pass game coordinators. You have pass rush specialists. You have all these really big coaching staffs. Sometimes a player doesn't know who to get the advice from.
Right. Songapolu was there, the rookie free agent from Wisconsin. He made that great lunge and batted that ball away. 2nd down and 10. Litton. Second choice, and across the middle, Rashad Davis. Brought down by another Wisconsin Badger, Natrell Jamerson. With a gain of 4 across the middle, out to the Kansas City 36.
Natrell Jamerson, good job on coverage, not getting caught up in the crossing traffic as he's trying to cover the receiver, and then a tackle right where he caught it. So no yak, no yards after catch.
Packers on defense at 5 in the secondary, 3rd down and 6.
They're going to drop out. They won't bring all these blitzes like John Kuhn wanted.
Litton. And slings a pass, and it's caught by the running back. That is Tremon Smith. Works his way up to the Kansas City 49. 13-yard pick. Good throw by Litton. A first down for Kansas City.
Tough thing when you're up in the line of scrimmage and then you've got to drop back into your zone. You also need to be able to pick up who's coming into your zone behind you. That time, the Chiefs do a better job at finding the open area than the Packers do at closing down that open area.
13-yard pickup right there. First down, Kansas City at their own 49. Chase Litton out of Marshall. And Marshall, the running back. Hit by Summers and by Crawford and trying to wiggle away, and he's down to the 48 of the Packers on a gain of 3. John, you've got more down there.
Yeah, somebody to keep an eye on is 39 Chandon Sullivan. He's cross-training between corner and safety net. He's actually played both positions, and that's not easy for a cornerback to do. You got to mix it up at safety. You got to get down in the box. You got to fill the run lanes. You got to play the crossing routes. He's done a nice job at both tonight. Right now, he's in the slot as the nickel.
I love that cross-training. I thought that was when you did archery and all that other stuff, and you said you're going to be a bobsledder.
2nd down and 7. Outside, Rashad Davis. And tackled by Crawford. Officially his 7th tackle tonight. James Crawford trying to transition to that inside backer, making a run with all the injuries there. Davis picks up 6 and 3rd and 1 for the Chiefs. They'll be down to the Green Bay 42.
You've got to have that position flexibility. We talked about that hole at inside linebacker that's been created with Owen Burks getting injured. Who do the Packers line up there next week against the Chicago Bears when this game really, really counts?
Still the nickel, 3rd and 1. Time. And the toss down the sideline, incomplete. Jamerson was defending Jamal Custis out of Syracuse. The coverage was there. It's 4th and 1. Let's see what the Chiefs are going to do. With 8:05 to play in the 3rd.
I think Eric Bieniemy, who is their offensive coordinator, he's calling the plays tonight. Andy Reid doesn't even have that big old play sheet that he normally has. So they're going to go for it on 4th down right here. They're going to take their time thinking about it.
Number 1 objective tonight, no one get hurt. But also, like the Packers, the Chiefs are trying to find the back end of their roster as well. 4th and 1. Marshall. And he's got the first down. Knifing his way near the Green Bay 35. He picks up 7. Matthews in the secondary makes the stop. The Chiefs keep the drive alive to the Green Bay 35.
You know, a nice job by the Packers up front, kind of clogging the holes. But Marshall is just patient enough where he reads, then he bounces to the outside. And another guy who's not a big running back, 5'10", 200 pounds, very shifty.
First down and 10. With the flag.
Somebody was a little too shifty.
False start.
That's right.
Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Goldich.
See, in practice, when this happens, you don't move it back 5 yards. But I always thought that you should because, you know, guys will shrug their shoulders or you'll make guys do push-ups. Hey, it's 1st and 15. We've got to be able to overcome that in a game. So this is a great situation for both offense and defense.
So in with the 1st and 15 goes underneath, and he will hit his wide receiver Cody Thompson out of Toledo. Big stick on the play with a gain of 6. And yeah, that's right. Show those guns. Trey Matthews with a hit.
That's
the ball to the Green Bay 34.
Big hit of the game. Remember, he hit the quarterback from behind.
Yes.
When he fumbled, we didn't know if it was an incomplete pass or a fumble. That's the second time he's come up and made his presence felt.
Trey Matthews on the Green Bay practice squad late last season, signed in early December. He was a 3-year starter who began at Georgia and went to Auburn. Second down 9, Marshall with a little shake in his run. And taken down by Crawford from behind. He's got a first down to the Green Bay 22 on a run of 12 by Marcus Marshall.
It starts by formation. You spread it out, 2 wide receivers or tight end on each side. And then you create a big hole because you looks like you're going to pass, but you do a great job in handing the draw off.
10th play of the drive for the Chiefs. Litton, and he's got him, and it's incomplete for Jody Fortson. A little bit long. Incomplete. Matthews in the vicinity. Fortson caught a touchdown pass earlier in the game for 2 yards. And Jamerson back there.
Big receiver like that, he could have slowed him down and made it a jump ball attempt, but good pressure up front by the Packers kind of forced this and made this an errant throw.
Packers still in that nickel defensively. Second down 10 for the Chiefs. Green Bay 22. He swings it off to Kaiser. And he's hit out there by Summers. Whacked by Natrell Jamerson with the gain of 1. Down to the Green Bay 21.
But they're trying to block Jamerson on that play at the line of scrimmage and throw the ball. It's a screen where you're getting the block because you're not far down the field. Jamerson, a nice job coming up on the outside, turning that play inside and making the tackle at the same time.
So the Chiefs began this drive on their 32. They've had a pass at 12 to Smith, a 12-yard and 7-yard run by Marshall. Working their way down, 3rd down and 9.
If you're pass rushing and you can't get there, get your hands up.
Litton pressured, blocking, running, has the first down, diving near the Green Bay 12. Let's see the spot. One official has him at the 12, which would be enough for the first. The other one has him just inside the 13-yard line.
Yeah, as soon as he starts that dive, he's done. It's almost like you're sliding. When you start to dive as the quarterback or as a player, you are giving yourself up at that moment.
Officials timeout for an injured Green Bay player.
There's an official timeout, as you heard. And they take off Crawford. Crawford is the injured player. A lot of eyes on him for the Packer defense, and we step aside at Lambeau. There was an injured Packer. Crawford taken off the field. Kansas City a 4th and 1. They're at the 12. And Litton was just shy in this run.
See Crawford there in on the tackle, gets hit by his own player.
Oof.
Yep. That'll sting.
4th and 1. They've already converted a 4th and 1 on this drive. Everybody in tight. Marshall got it again. He slices through Jackson Porter, who was signed this week. Rookie out of UMass. Gain of 6. That is another first down for the Chiefs.
And that's that inside zone where you just pick your hole. Marshall does a nice job reading it, starting to his right, and then making a good cut back to the left.
They're at the 7 of Green Bay. Chandon Sullivan will come in for Summers. 7-minute drive for the Chiefs. With a 1st and goal. Litton is back into the end zone with a flag. Davis bobbled it, and Jamerson was right there covering. Rashad Davis has been one of the go-to players on Kansas City's offense tonight. Jamerson has made some plays here in the second half.
Face mask. Defense, number 21. Half the distance of the goal line. Automatic first down.
So that's the same as like hands to the face. You're trying to jam the receiver at the line of scrimmage, and you reach out and grab that face mask a little bit. You can see Jamerson right there, number 21, where the ball is end up throwing. He makes a good play at the end, but right at the beginning, he grabbed that face mask as he's trying to jam him.
1st and goal for the Kansas City Chiefs. Bobbled. Litton jumps on it. RPO, and down he goes, and making sure he was down was Randy Ramsey for Green Bay.
Yeah, that mesh point is tough. Do you give it to the running back who's not supposed to pull away? His job is once he finds the ball in there after he's stepped away from the quarterback, then he's going to run. That quarterback has to take it out more forcefully or just leave it in there.
Fifteenth play of the Kansas City drive from the 5, 2nd down and goal. Marshall, and struck on the play by Deion Simon. Packers again very stout. They had a goal line stand, and very early in the game on Kansas City's first offensive possession.
They did a great job in that time. The Kansas City Chiefs came with a fullback. So normally follow the fullback, you're going to find the ball. Time the fullback went to the right, and the Packers closed every imaginable hole. They had 3 guys past the line of scrimmage, able to knock him back. Once again, the ball's going to come out quickly. If he has to double pump it, get your hands up.
Deion Simon on the Packer practice squad a season ago. 3rd down and goal. Litton to the air and slings it for a touchdown. Grabbed by tight end Nick Keiser. A 4-yard touchdown pass by Chase Litton. He grew up in Tampa and played at Marshall and has just thrown a touchdown pass to bring the Chiefs close. And a sidearm throw with that.
Throw around those hands. That back of the end zone line is the least defended area. You see in chase position right there, Trey Matthews. He's had a couple big hits. That time he lost contact with the tight end.
Here is the extra point by Harrison Butker. With 2:20.
The ball had not yet been made ready for play.
That's easy for you to say.
We'll retry.
That was another long drive by the Chiefs on this Packer defense, and most of those Packer defenders have been out there most of this game. Lutker again. PATs a season ago, 65 of 69. Yep, they scored a lot. Got it. 3-point game, 2:22 to go in the 3rd. A lot of big plays by the running back Marshall. But Litton with a sidearm throw and his tight end open in the back of the end zone as he beat Jackson Porter. Long drive by Kansas City head coach Andy Reid's offense. Kansas City tonight is at drives of 7 minutes and 40 seconds and now 8 minutes and 34 seconds. Tight end right there made the grab. Nick Keiser out of Grand Valley State. The ensuing kickoff by the Chiefs to Green Bay. Sullivan will leave it in the end zone. Touchback to the 25 to the sideline, and John Kuhn.
Hi guys, I'm joined now on the sideline with Blake Martinez. And Blake, You've had 144 tackles each of the last 2 years, but you can only play one inside linebacker position. What's the feeling not knowing who your sidekick's going to be this year?
I mean, it's been tough, but it's been something I've kind of gone through the past couple of years, just knowing new guys are rolling through. They've all done a great job, especially Raven, Green, during training camp and stuff like that. Just working really well, communications getting there, and whoever's out there this coming Thursday, we're going to get the job done.
Now, is there a special relationship or rapport that you need to have with your other inside mate? I mean, do you guys call each other Bash Brothers and smash helmets against each other? I mean, tell us about that relationship.
No, yeah, I feel like if I had an actual person next to me, legitimate, for all 3 downs, I think we would have a cool nickname going. But right now, it's just new guys rolling through, so nothing crazy.
Okay, now we hear all the time that the Mike is the quarterback of the defense. Who's the fullback? Who does the dirty work on the defense?
I'd probably say Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's kind of the dirty work guy. He makes sure to keep the double teams off so they can't get to me and I can go make plays.
Hey, I got a Snickers back in my bag. Any chance that the preseason's over, we can get you to take a bite and have a little cheat day?
No, it's too close to the Thursday game.
All right, guys, he's not having it. Lean and mean, Blake Martinez.
Great job, John.
I love it talking about his imaginary friend. It's like he's back in kindergarten with a friend to play with.
There is an offsides on the Chiefs. They move it from the 35 to the 30, and a re-kick. Fox will kick it. Inside the 5 is Shepard. Fumbled the ball and recovered by Kansas City. DeJuan Hines got it on a fumble by Darius Shepard, who is clearly in the crosshairs of making the roster, or perhaps not.
High and tight, that's the way you want to carry the ball, and the hand just punches it out. Right on the ball, you get it punched out.
Look where the Chiefs begin it. 26 of Green Bay. 1st and 10. With the quarterback, Chase Litton, and the running back, Marcus Marshall. Exhausted, Kansas City will go the other way. And here comes Davis, and forced out of bounds well by Trey Matthews on a reception by Rashad Davis. And a gain of 6. They work their way inside the Packer 20.
Getting the ball out of his hands so quickly, it doesn't give the defensive line a chance to really pressure the quarterback. If you're not up at the line of scrimmage, jostling the receivers, they're going to be open in that short little area. The best you can do is try and make the tackle for no gain after the catch.
While the Kansas City offense may be tired, that Green Bay defense is certainly tired. 2nd down and 4. Litton again. Here they come from behind. Chased and brought down on the play. James Folston just signed by the Packers this week. He's had shots with Arizona and Tennessee, undrafted out of Pitt. Comes up with a nice play and a sack.
And it's funny, we get to this juncture of the preseason where a lot of guys who aren't going to play are getting to play a lot. Just remember, Kevin, you roll the clock back about 6 years. These are the all-state guys from Tennessee, from Pennsylvania, from Ohio. We're seeing the cream of the crop out here who just happen to be backup players in the NFL.
Folston playing linebacker. He was a defensive lineman at Pitt. 3rd down and 9. On the Green Bay 25. Litton again. Here comes Folston. There goes Litton, and there goes the pass. It's incomplete, looking for the running back, who is covered by Randy Ramsey. With the intended receiver, Marcus Marshall.
You know, it's preseason for all the players and the coaches. Andy Reid, who has lost a little bit of weight and become a little more svelte, was trying to get down the sideline to call a timeout there. But he was about a half a step away from getting that timeout in. Andy's thinking to himself, you know, I used to have a quick first step. Pretty good offensive lineman at BYU, too.
Harrison Butker, and a punt, pass, and kick champion, too. 43-yard Harrison Butker field goal try for the Chiefs to try to tie the Packers. And he does. 43-yard field goal. The Chiefs cash in on the Packers' kickoff return fumble. And they've come back from a 10-point deficit The Chiefs 10 points in 99 seconds on Green Bay.
But Kevin, that's a win for the defense.
Yes.
You go out, you only allow them the opportunity to kick a field goal. You don't let them get in the end zone. Sudden change, all of that stuff. Win for the defense that last sequence.
Carrabba Coffee from Quick Trip is the official coffee of the Green Bay Packers. Try the Packers House Blend Coffee now. It's available at any Wisconsin Quick Trip store while supplies last. Chiefs offense has run the last 19 offensive plays in this game. They had a long 8+ minute drive and got a 4-yard touchdown pass out of it. Just collected a Green Bay kickoff return fumble and got a 43-yard field goal out of that. So the ensuing kickoff, it will be left in the end zone. Retrieved there by Sullivan. We are tied at 20 with 43 seconds to play in the third quarter.
You're at the point when you're trying to call plays. What does everybody know? What does everybody know really well? Because you've got a mixture of players out there. You've got DeShone Kizer out there who started. I don't know if you have another player other than maybe Jamon Moore who's actually started a game in the NFL who's on the field right now.
Two tight ends. Jamon Moore is in motion. First down and 10. In there at the running back is Ford, and here he's got his receiver. That is running across the middle. And he's brought down on the play by Soro. 18-yard completion. Good throw by DeShone Kizer. And the ball is at the 43 of Green Bay.
Nice play action fake, and then leading your receiver to the open area, not throwing it behind him, not making him slow down. Nice hands catch, too. I like that.
Redding's had a couple nice receptions tonight. This will take us to the fourth quarter, rolling things into the fourth and tied at 20 in the final preseason game of 2019. Packers 20, Chiefs 20. Let's go to the fourth on the Green Bay Packers television network. We're starting the fourth quarter. We're tied at 20. Tonight's fourth quarter is brought to you by Concordia University, Wisconsin. Proud to be the preferred MBA of the Green Bay Packers. Visit cuw.edu for more information. Statistically, the Chiefs dominated the first and third quarters. Green Bay owned the second quarter. We start the fourth.
Good field position.
With the Packers first and 10 at their own 43. Running back is Keith Ford, and the quarterback is DeShone Kizer. This is Ford. And after about the 48-yard line, Keith Ford signed August 6th, cleaned off waivers from the Colts. They waived Spriggs. They picked up Ford. That is a gain of 5, so second down and 5 for Green Bay at the 49.
You know, you used to hear the term broken field runners. Ford is a downhill runner, and by that I mean he is not looking to avoid the collision. He's looking to run through you, and if there's 3 yards to be gained, he's going to gain 4. If there's 2 yards to be gained, he's going to gain 3. Very physical at the point of attack.
Keith Ford, who played at Texas A&M in the backfield, gets the call. Second down and 5, and no place to run right there. Nice defensive play by Sayon Walker.
They
the defensive line.
They got
the
one leg and wouldn't let go of it. And it's hard for the one-legged man to really get a hold on. He has one leg trying to get his way out of it, but he's also trying to still fall forward so he loses a minimum of yardage. 3rd and 7 now coming up for the Packers.
3rd down and 7. Keith Ford was released by Buffalo in mid-May, signed with the Colts in late July, and then waived, and the Packers signed him. In the backfield, 3rd and 7, here comes Kizer. And as he throws down the sideline and incomplete. Looking for Malik Taylor. 4th down.
A little bit of discussion here on the Packers sideline. Now I think we're getting a call for the punt team though.
Punt team goes out there. Here comes J.K. Scott. So he will punt. Kaiser looks frustrated.
See, you substituted late, so now you've got to give the defense time to also get set up. So you're going to stand over the ball if you're the official.
Tremont Smith is deep back and awaiting the J.K. Scott punt.
Delay of game.
Yep.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
They'll move it back. Scott, who is kicking higher and longer, with more position, says he has better balance when he's getting the long snap and can feel it here, and he's at a great camp.
They're doubling both outside gunners, so they want to give the returner a chance to return this one.
Low long snap. Smith is back. And finally gets the ball at about the 12. Up the sideline to the 21. And knocked out of bounds. Keever got him. 48-yard punt, 10-yard return, 13:26 in the 4th from Lambeau. Packers just punted. Kansas City will take it from their 20 with a 1st down and 10. We're tied at 20. The Chiefs have scored the last 2 times they've had possession. A 4-yard touchdown pass, a 43-yard field goal. That came off a fumbled kick return by Green Bay. The Packers have only had 16 total yards this second half. Early in the 4th. Kansas City with the 1st down and 10. They stay with their quarterback, Chase Litton. Beginning the game was Kyle Shermer. 1st and 10. Well, he'll toss it on the side. That's the tight end, Garnett. He's knocked out of bounds by Brady Sheldon. The gain to the 24. It's a pickup of 4. Let's take you down to the sideline.
Thank you very much, Kevin. We're joined by Billy Turner. And Billy, Matt LaFleur calls this the smartest offensive line he's ever been around. How is the chemistry coming together for you guys?
It's coming together well, man. Since the beginning of camp and really since OTAs, we've, really kind of come together as a whole, as a team, as a complete offense, actually. So, obviously with his help, with Aaron's help, and everyone being on the same page, day by day, week by week, and preseason game by preseason game, we've really taken strides.
We haven't seen a lot of the starters this preseason in games. How ready will you be for next week, week 1?
Oh, we'll be ready, 100%. We've been working day in, day out. Regardless of playing in these games, it's not really a big deal. We got one goal in mind, and that is to win week 1 down in Chicago.
Final thing is, Billy, your dad played for the Packers. What does it mean for you to put the uniform on?
It's pretty cool to be playing with the team that my father played for, obviously, but at the end of the day, my dad will tell you, just like everyone else in the family will tell you, it doesn't matter where I'm playing, they're always going to be rooting for me.
Billy, thanks for the time. Good luck this season, and welcome to the Packers.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Billy Turner joining us right here on the Packers TV Network, guys.
Litton on the move, 3rd and 6 and incomplete, and the Packers covered it well on a flag. You saw Billy Turner, who has been with the Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos, basically at offensive tackle.
Personal foul. Blindside block. Offense, number 68. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Probably brought in to be the guard, and if there's an issue with Belonga's health, they'd move Turner out to right tackle and put the highly prized rookie Jenkins in at that guard.
He's got that position versatility that you look for in offensive linemen, and you wonder, okay, what's the difference between a guard and a tackle? Well, tackles normally a little bit larger, longer arms, the ability to block those speed pass rushes, and guards a little more quicker of foot.
Colquitt with the punt. And this bounces at the 34 and takes a roll. Redding was back for the Green Bay Packers. 12:26 to play in the 4th quarter. Hang time of over 5. 49-yard punt. Tied at 20. We saw Wilkins warming up on the sideline for Green Bay. Will they bring in the Arizona State rookie? We'll find out in just a second. Game is brought to you by Ticketmaster, by Spectrum, and by Menards. Chiefs just punted. Green Bay will take over at the 27. They've got a brand new quarterback. It is Manny Wilkins, rookie free agent out of Arizona State. And he has it with a 1st and 10. Bohannon is the fullback. And this is Dexter Williams, and he is being chased to the sideline, cuts the corner with a nice run. Takes it up to the Green Bay 36. 8-yard run on first down to John Kuhn.
Guys, I'm now joined on the sideline with second-year cornerback Jair Alexander. And Jair, you made some waves this offseason saying you were going to make All-Pro in 2019. Now, a lot of guys think that. What made you say it?
Oh, man, I'm just confident, way more confident than last year. Just coming in, I studied the greats. I really been practicing hard. I feel like I'm ready for it.
Well, you're definitely an all-pro at talking trash. I see you chirping at practice all the times. What part of trash talking is in Jair Alexander's game?
Just kind of throw off the receiver game a little bit, I kind of like that. It brings the intensity out of him. I just like talking, man, giving him a look. That's all.
Now, what has it meant for you to have a guy like Tramon Williams going into his 15th year in the room with you to help kind of coach you along with things?
Tramon's been great. He's been a great leader, great role model for all of us. Just the way he prepares, the way he takes care of his body. It's been really helpful having him around.
The defensive side tonight, it's like every assistant coach has been calling plays. If you were going to call a play, what are you calling?
Shoot, I'm gonna have to call a blitz. And I want to put myself out down that island and hope the ball come my way.
Great stuff. Jair Alexander, guys, he's got the bling and he's got the game. Back to you.
Number 1 cornerback on the Green Bay Packers. Here comes Wilkins on 1st and 10 after Dexter Williams was running the other play during that interview for a first down. Manny Wilkins running outside and picks up about a yard perhaps at most. It's called 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, he had a bootleg. He had a deep crossing route by Jamon Moore, but they had him covered. So smartly didn't try and force the ball in there. Got that yard out of it and move on to 2nd down.
Wilkins from Novato, California. He was one of the top 3 high school quarterbacks nationally. 2nd down, 9, Dexter Williams. Hit initially in the play by Raymond Davison out of Cal for the Chiefs in a gain of 2. He's up to the Green Bay 41. It's a 3rd down and 7. Kansas City has come back to tie this game with a 4-yard touchdown pass here in the second half and a 43-yard field goal after the Chiefs fumbled a kickoff return.
You're Manny Wilkins right here. You want to make sure you take care of the football. If it's not there, punt it away, let your defense get out there and let them do the job.
3rd and 7. Underneath, screen pass. Nice block, and here's a first down catch and run by the rookie out of Notre Dame. And he's finally lassoed by Soro in the secondary of Kansas City. A catch and run at 21 yards. A very important drive for Dexter Williams down to the Chiefs 38.
3 carries, 1 reception on screens. One rule that you always hear running back coaches say, on zone, up the numbers, man toward the sideline. That time he went up the numbers, brought it back inside. Got some tough yardage there right at the end.
Good blocking, too, ahead by Justin McCray on that Green Bay offensive line from the Chiefs 38, 1st and 10. Wilkins, who is the top rushing quarterback in the Pac-12 a season ago. 1-yard gain right there. Led the Pac-12 quarterbacks with 8 rushing touchdowns. 2nd down and long. Coming up.
None of those 3 unblocked defenders are from the Pac-12.
No.
Dexter Williams handled the ball 4 times in that first sequence and then came out the game. If you're really fighting for your job, you stay on the field no matter how fatigued you're getting.
2nd down and 9. Bohannon is the fullback for Green Bay. Ford is back there, blocked by Bohannon, down the sideline, held up, and they were going for Redding, and that'll be a foul on Wade. DeMontre Wade in the Kansas City secondary got T.O. Redding caught up with his defense.
Pass interference, defense number 40. Ball is placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down, Packers.
He had a good jam at the line of scrimmage and then just got a little handsy once the ball was in there. Didn't locate it, didn't turn to locate it. Easy call for the officiating crew.
15-yard penalty takes him down to the Kansas City 22.
and Dexter Williams, number 22, is back in. So let's see if they feed him the rock again.
Steve Spagnuolo, who's the new defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Packers 1st and 10, Dexter Williams. Into the fray and down to the Kansas City 18-yard line.
You know, I see it in Dexter Williams, you know, a guy that averaged almost 7 yards per carry last year.
Officials timeout.
I see that little burst
for an injured
when he
Kansas
gets the
City
ball.
player. Timeout.
Hopefully this is just a player who's cramping up. McCrary.
Rob McCray is down. And Green Bay had their tackle, DeBeer, who is slow to get up as well. Injury timeout, 8:03 to play in the 4th. Gerhard DeBeer has been taken out, and because of that, they've moved people around. And there is DeBeer, but they've got Elton Jenkins now at the center, and they have moved out Penke to the right tackle. Oh, it is McCray. Excuse me. They brought out Jenkins and they quickly took him back, and it is McCray back out there, and it's a 2nd down and 6 after the gain of 4, and here comes Wilkins. Running, hurdling, and inside the 10. What a play. Manny Wilkins.
Okay, I see it now. Leading quarterback rusher in the Pac-12. That's on display right there. You talked about the number 3 rated quarterback coming out of high school in the Bay Area, just north of San Francisco, Novato, California. I mean, that's a play that I don't care what roster he makes or doesn't make, he's going to remember that one right there. Kevin, that would have been a good hurdle in the Olympic Games.
Absolutely, something you can appreciate. 1st and goal at the Kansas City 6. Wilkins, Williams, and down to about the 3. Gain of 3 on the play. Packers have been helped on this drive with a PI against Wade. Williams has had runs of 8 and 5, and he had a catch and run at 21. On this drive, he's got 41 yards combined of his 61 total yards in the game. 2nd down and goal. Williams, that's in for a touchdown. Flag has been thrown. There may have been movement on that Green Bay offensive line.
Offside. Defense. Number 26 was lined up in the neutral zone.
Mark Fields.
Declined. The result of the play was a touchdown.
His 3rd penalty, and that's going to count a 4-yard touchdown run. Make it 3 for Dexter Williams.
Kevin, we were concerned when we saw that flag, which was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, that it might have been a penalty on the Packers. Odd that it's not thrown right at the line of scrimmage, but one of the judges that is behind the line threw it. So Fields must have been lined up way offsides, covering the slot receiver.
3-yard touchdown run by Dexter Williams. 6th-round rookie out of Notre Dame. With the extra point here, up and in by Ficken. And the Packers have taken the lead with 6:24 to go. After the Chiefs have come back to tie it at 20. Williams on that drive, 44 yards, catching and running. There's a look at the Chevy scoring summary. A 10-play, 73-yard drive. Chevrolet proud to be the best-selling brand in Wisconsin and the official vehicle of the Green Bay Packers. Trust Chevy on your team. Visit your local Chevy dealer today. Early in the game, the Packers missed a PAT after the pick 6 by Ty Summers. Crosby missed it. And because of that, it is within reach. It would be 28-20 otherwise.
Yeah, because you look at those 27 points, and normally that's 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. But like you say, that missed PAT, and now we've got somebody who wanted to get on the field and cover a kickoff. He's doing his best there. Just let him run all the way and get him off the field. Now he's taking off his shirt. Kevin, this is where you have to get in here.
Oh, and a Chiefs player, Harold Jones-Cordy, just tackled him. So he was surrounded by probably 15 security people on the field, and Jones-Cordy.
I wonder if he just didn't have a ride home after the game.
Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, now he does.
I know where his ride is coming from tonight. Let's go down to John.
I'm joined now with Aaron Jones while there's some shenanigans going on in the background. And Aaron, you haven't taken a rep yet this entire preseason. Is there any type of anxiety that you have going in first game of the year against last year's 2018 best defense in the rush game?
No, sir. I'm just ready to get out there and get going. I'm just excited to play football. That's all I'm anxious for. Get back out there with the guys and get going.
Now, you've averaged 5.5 yards per carry. That leads the NFL over the last 2 years for running backs, but you only have 214 carries. Are you ready to be that bell cow? How many carries can you take this year?
I can take as many as they give me. Yes, sir. I'm ready. I've been working on my body this offseason, preparing, and I feel like I'm ready this year.
Now, we always see Jamal Williams dancing on the field when he gets a first down, when he gets a touchdown. I see you jiving at practice. Are you working something up for us for the Packer fans this season?
I am. Me and Jamal, he been teaching me a little something, so that's something in the works. Yes, sir, definitely.
There you go, guys. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, Dance with the Stars. Back up to you.
All right, John, thank you. Flag thrown as Rashad Davis returns it for the Chiefs on a Mason Crosby kickoff for Green Bay.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 84, 10-yard penalty. Kansas City keeps the ball. First down.
Jamal Custis.
You hustle down, you beat your guy, he holds you. That's a little star by your name when you're covering kickoff.
Packers trailed once early, 3-zip. They've led most of the game, leading now by 7. With 6:17 to go, timeouts, each team with 3. First down and 10. Penalty back to the Kansas City 15. Litton to Marshall. And the Staggers ahead for about 5, maybe 6 in the play. Jaquez Khalili out of UNLV makes the Green Bay stop in a gain of 5.
The starters tonight, who are primarily backup players, are playing a full game. And they're playing a full game probably for the first time in some of them a case of a year, maybe 2 years. And so they're a little winded, but you've got to dig deep now, continue to make the good plays, and commit to your assignment.
Second down and 5, and Litton will give off to Marshall, and he bulldozes ahead for a first down. Brought down by Marcus Jones, the rookie, gain of 6, and put him at the Kansas City 27.
And normally during the course of a game, you'd have a defensive line rotation going, keep guys fresh. You don't want guys out there to play 60, 70 plays. This unit, those defensive linemen, they've been out there the entire evening.
First down and 10. Marshall. And outside, looked like Looney jumped on him, and that's an L2 from the linebacker Marcus Jones. Jones has had a nice night. We've called his name quite a bit. Gain of 2 on the play. They'll put him up to the Kansas City 29.
Yeah, a lot of Packers forcing that run, slowing it down, turning it back inside. That's good team defense right there. If you're an edge rusher here, expect a pass coming up, and if you're in the middle, get those hands up.
Second down and 8 with the Chiefs at their 29. Fake to Marshall. Here comes Litton to the side, and it's grabbed on the play by Davis with the tackle made by Khalili. Originally undrafted. Went to Jacksonville, cut on August 4th. Signed by Green Bay this week. He was a walk-on at Arizona, went to community college, and he ended his college career at UNLV. 3rd and 3 coming up for Kansas City.
That last play, good throw, good catch, good coverage, all of the above. Now let's see if the Packers can get the Chiefs off the field on 3rd down.
3rd down and 3. Packers have stayed with pretty much the nickel in the secondary throughout the game. Litton, 3rd and 3. He's got it, the tight end, Kaiser. He's got 5. He's got the first down, landing at the 39-yard line, and flag was thrown on the play.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Chidi Okeke out of Tennessee State will pick that up, the right tackle.
Those edge pass rushers, hard to contain. They're trying to get the quarterback to turn him back inside. Okeke decides, I'm not going to let him go out there. I'm just going to grab my man and not let him go.
Now it becomes 3rd and 13. Chiefs will open up the season at Jacksonville. Green Bay will be in Chicago a week from tonight at Soldier Field to play the Bears.
Early in the game, the Chiefs used a lot of those crossing routes, man-to-man, to get rubs and picks. Andy Reid bolting down the sideline for a timeout.
Yep. That's the first used by
Timeout.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Their first.
Well, we had some
30
Toyota
second
players
timeout.
to watch at the very top of the broadcast. And Summers, of course, with a terrific play. And Shepard has fumbled a kickoff tonight.
Summers has had a really good camp. Filled in when needed. Started. Played the entire game. Had that interception return. Darius Shepard, you've seen him on the return game. That one fumble that cost him a little bit. But he didn't drop his head. I watched him as he came to the sideline.
Players to watch brought to you by Toyota. The national clearance event is going on now. Visit your local Toyota dealer today or visit buyatoyota.com to learn more. Toyota, let's go places. 3rd and 13. Chiefs need their own 37.
Like the Packers are matched up in zone coverage right here.
Yep. And they got 6 back there. Make it 5 in the secondary. Litton is chased. Here comes Looney. There goes Litton, incomplete. With the coverage on the play by Khalili. How about these guys who signed this week, and one guy was signed today, an offensive lineman.
You know, when you are signed this late in the process, the assistant coach, your positional coach, spends a little extra time with you, and he just tries to teach you what you need to know. He doesn't give you the entire playbook. You're going to go in, you're going to have these 5, 6, 7, 8 plays, and the guys next to you have to be able to help you out too.
Jack Fox punting for the Chiefs. Deep back will be Tio Redding. Landing at the 35, good. Green Bay bounce to the 42. With a punt of 32 yards. Kick off the NFL's 100th season in style with the Platinum Sideline Collection. This collection will only be worn on the field by players and staff during week 1 of the regular season. That's next Thursday night it begins. The Packers and the Bears will wear their platinum cap. The Platinum Sideline Collection is available at the Packers Pro Shop or online at packersproshop.com. And they've got the new emblem.
Good looking.
The 100th season emblem that the NFL has come up with. It is good looking. Andy Wilkins is the Green Bay quarterback from the 44, 1st and 10. This is Ford with a nice cut. Brings it up to the 48 with a gain of 4 on the play for the Pack.
Two timeouts remaining for the Chiefs. They get a chance to stop the clock again at the 2-minute warning. Andy Reid is well aware of that. You know, he'd like for his offense to get out there and be competitive and see what they can do. But he's also thinking, okay, we get on the plane in about an hour and a half. It's about a 2-minute flight, 2-hour flight down to Kansas City.
They wish it were 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2nd down and 6.
Some of these players are so tired they're going to fall asleep and 2 minutes are going to go by.
It's 3rd down. Big hard run right here by Ford. Bulldozing his way to the Kansas City 34. 17-yard run. That was a beauty.
The two of us have watched a lot of football. That run reminded me for some crazy reason of a Larry Zonka type run. He would just run through the middle looking for bodies to bounce off of him. And that one, Ford lowered his head but hit him with his shoulder. That was great.
This is the 2-minute
Terrific
warning.
run. Dakari
Timeout.
Monroe brought him down in the secondary. Green Bay's largest run tonight, up by 7 with the ball. 2-minute warning. Stance powered by Cenex. Be sure to stop at your local Cenex to fuel up on the way to your next Packers game. Cenex is the proud petroleum partner of the Green Bay Packers. Williams
Those
and Ford.
numbers are impressive. When you can 4.6 yards per carry, and you can run the ball when you want to run the ball.
With a run here on first down and 10.
What did I say, 4.3 yards per carry?
Yeah, well, what was it?
We're going to have to recalibrate it now. It was 4.6. Now it's down a little.
Yeah, it's about 65 rushing yards this half, which is good. Ford, a big chunk of it, had a 17-yard run moments ago. Second down and 11.
So now you spread it out a little bit. You get 3 wide receivers in, 1 tight end, 11 personnel. Try and run the ball out of this set.
Ford again, tries to take it up, bounces outside, makes a cut. I like his tenacity. Then he meets the welcoming party. About the 38. We have so many people to thank for our broadcast of the Green Bay Packers, beginning with Gabriel Dow, the Vice President of Marketing and Fan Engagement for the Green Bay Packers. I'd like to thank Craig Schilbauer for all that he has done with this broadcast and making everything work so well. Director of Digital Broadcast and Game Presentation, our producer, Michael Atkinson. I'd like to thank our director, Doug Brown, our wonderful professionals in the truck who have been with us from Green Bay to Baltimore to Winnipeg and back here at Lambeau. -3 there, third down, 14. Wilkins, he'll take it himself. He's elusive and slippery, and he's down to the 35. Chiefs had 2 timeouts, as you see. Green Bay with 3.
Yeah, and Andy Reid was okay letting the game end where it's going to end right here.
Well, and you know, for a lot of these kids, maybe the last football game they'll ever play. A week from tonight, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will go to Soldier Field and take on the Chicago Bears. And a week from Sunday,
the end of the game.
Patrick Mahomes will take his Chiefs to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. 2-time MVP and last year's MVP. And 39-year-old head coach Matt LaFleur, with the dean of a lot of coaches in the offensive realm, Kansas City's very successful Andy Reid, now talking with Aaron Rodgers. Statistician all summer long has been Ethan Cooperson. And so many names, men and women, in the Packer organization that have been of assistance to us all this month of August.
You know, at the end of a game, when you see so many players congregating out at the midfield, you also see in the media guide all the connections where guys played together in college or they were on the same team in training camp, and coaches who've been such and such a place with certain players. So it just runs through it, where unavoidable that there's somebody on the other side that you were either teammate with or played against. And you know, in these chance meetings where you get to see people at the end of the season where all 90 guys, 180 players are still together.
Pretty amazing. 27-20. The Packers have won it. They finished the preseason 2-2 for first-year rookie head coach Matt LaFleur. We come back and wrap it up from Lambeau after this.